Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Romesh Shivastu. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss the EPS 95 higher pension. And recently, we have also covered this topic. What are the reasons? What are the current updates? We will try to explore a little more from the employee perspective as well. And joining us, Mr. Nath Verma. He's a former Chief Executive Director at NTPC. Welcome, Mr. Verma.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava.
So, Mr. Verma, if we try to summarize our previous conversation, so EPFO has received 17.5 lakh applications, total applications for the EPS 95 higher pension. Out of this, 2.6 lakh applications were rejected, and the pension payment order is issued to 16,282 people only. So this is just the one point. This is just the less than 1% of the application. So this is only the success rate. If you look at from the employee perspective, so this is very frustrating. This is very, the people are annoyed, the people are worried, they're upset with the delay and the speed, with this speed of EPFO to clear the cases. How do you see from employee perspective this whole scenario?
Thank you, Mr. Srivastava, for raising this very, very important question from the employee's point of view. As we have been discussing in the past about the judgment of the Supreme Court of 4th November, it came after a long battle, long drawn events of things, wherein a lot of cases were pending in the high courts, and then they went to Supreme Court. On 4th November, a landmark judgment was given by the Honorable Supreme Court for allowing the enhanced pension under the EPS 95 scheme. And that gave a lot of good feeling to the employees who have been waiting for a very long period. Now, what was expected from EPFO was that the issue would be dealt amicably and efficiently in a time-bound manner. But what has happened is elapse of more than 2 years have caused a lot of frustration. You see, employees at this age bracket, around 60 and 60 plus, they are having a lot of concerns about how much amount of pension they are going to get, when they are going to get, so that they can plan their life ahead of them. So it's very, very frustrating. I have been getting a lot of feedback from employees, cross-section of employees from both the public sector as well as from the private sector. Whereas people have been waiting for a very long time and waiting very, very hopefully that EPFO would settle the case. But rather than settling the case, the things have been getting delayed on one pretext or the other. So that is causing a lot of apprehensions and so-called unfortunate feelings in the mind of people that if at all their pension is going to be enhanced or not, because at that stage, people are not sure how long they are going to live. So to my mind, this was a golden opportunity for the EPFO and the government of India to institutionalize the entire enhanced pension scheme as a social service scheme for the organized sector, both in the public sector and the private sector. And they should have seized the opportunity and gone out of way to make efforts to ensure that the enhanced pension is fixed and started making, started getting paid to the concerned eligible employees in a time-bound manner. But that has not happened, and that is causing a lot of apprehensions in the minds of people.
Right, you rightly said there's a lot of delay, and recently the EPFO has again extended the deadline for the employers to submit their base details, and that is 31st January 2025. And EPFO might have raised some clarification requests to the employers. So to furnish this necessary clarifications So for this, the deadline is January 15. How do you see, how to interpret these the deadlines?
We have seen the notice in the newspapers about the extension of deadline from the employer side, given by the EPFO, that by 31st January they have to submit all the clarifications and submit the pending applications which have not been submitted. See, as I had told earlier in our previous conversations, out of the 17.5 lakh applications, uh, lot many applications have been submitted to the EPFO in complete respect. They can be always processed. Other than that, there are certain number of applications which are pending for want of certain additional information that has been sought by the EPFO that need to be submitted from the employer side to the EPFO, which must be done. I don't deny that. But all those applications which have been submitted and submitted in all respect to the EPFO, what is the problem in sending the demand letters from the EPFO to the respective employers? That is not understood, because as of now, as we have come through newspaper reports, only 16,000 odd cases have been settled, which is, as you said, only less than 1% of the total number of cases. So see, the magnitude of problem is very high, and EPFO must take action in a very effective and time-bound manner, so that the balance cases are settled uh, expeditiously. Now, there are one or two more concerns that the employees are raising. See, whenever they receive demand, the employer have to pay, the concerned employee has to pay the total amount which is due, which includes the interest part also. But once they submit uh, the amount as per the demand raised, after that, some delay is taken place, say 3, 4 months, 5 months before their actual enhanced pension starts. So the arrears, when they are paid, they are not inclusive of the interest rate. So the employees are suffering on that account also. So many suggestions have come to why EPFO cannot request or ask for the net payment, meaning thereby the total amount due minus whatever arrears they are going to get. Why they cannot get it reduced from their because once you raise the demand and say, in a case, say about 50 lakh rupees is required, demanded by the EPFO. So at this stage, after the person has retired, arranging 50 lakh of rupees is not a very mean task. This is a very big task for any person, any employee. So after having arranged this money, or maybe he will break some of his fixed deposits, or maybe he will arrange from taking loan from banks. So suppose he takes this much money and deposits to EPFO, and after that 3, 4, 5 months are taken to process his case, and then the EPFO finalizes the enhanced pension and starts the pension, and then arrears are paid. Those arrears will not include any interest payments. So the employee has to suffer on that account also. So that is very reasonable that the EPFO can consider the demand, raising demand for only net payment. So whatever is total demand minus the arrears that is going to be paid back to the employee concerned, that should be reduced from the demand, and the net demand should be raised, so that the employees are not put to any additional burden. So that is one suggestion that from employee side, the EPFO must consider. And the second is, as I have told earlier, the expeditious handling of the whatever processing is required, because data is required definitely to be submitted by employee, and then through employee to the employee, by the employer to the EPFO. But that should not be taking so much of time. So my request is that these things must be addressed. And now, because of the growing time, many employees are getting disgruntled and many people are approaching the courts. One example is of Chennai High Court, the Madras High Court, whereby people have approached the High Court to expeditiously settle the case, and the instructions have been given by Madras High Court to the CPFC and the regional PFC to ensure that within 4 weeks the pensions are settled. Similarly, in one more case, in the state of Punjab, the State Consumer Forum has given a decision that the EPFO must take into cognizance the interest part and settle the enhanced pension in a time-bound manner. So as time passes, the employees are getting restless, and the concerns are getting more and more in them. So this is to be understood by the EPFO and Government of India in that perspective, from the employees' perspective, that they have waited for a very long time, and the time has come that the enhanced pension request is settled at in line with the guidelines or the instructions given by the Honorable Supreme Court.
Yeah, absolutely. Demand for the net payment is reasonable, and certain cases are also settled by the court in favor of the employees. And apart from this, there is also one more concern. There are many applications where there is no status update on EPFO side. There is no application status is there. Either the application is rejected, or it is in process, or there is an query to employer. So this is how to see this. This is kind of IT failure. This is the system failure. How do you see?
No, no. As you have rightly said, there is no, there is no exact information available on the website as to how many cases have been processed. Off and on, they come out with the press releases, and they inform, like after the 30th November CBT meeting, the press release was issued by EPFO, whereby they informed that close to 16,000 cases have already been settled. But there is no online data available on the portal, which should be done. The transparency and the governance aspect demands that how many cases have been processed, how many cases are going to be processed in near future. They all must be put on the website. But that is not being done. That should be done. You are very right. My request to the EPFO is that why they are waiting for all the applications to be processed in one lump sum. They should process in what, suppose they have received the applications, about 10 lakh applications, complete in all respect, they should start raising demands, so that when the demands are raised, the employer will inform the concerned employees and they will submit the money. So all these things will take time, and then the enhanced pensions processing will also take some time. So rather than waiting for all the applications to come and then take a decision, so it will be better if the as and when the complete applications are received in the EPFO, their demand should start coming, and the EPFO must consider the raising of demand on the basis of the net payment that is required to be paid by the employees. That will go a very long way in meeting the aspirations of the employees.
Absolutely. As we are talking about the delay, and delay, so if you look at the deadline, even for the employers to upload the waste details, and to clarify if there is any question from the EPFO side. So this, I think, this is the fifth time when the deadline is extended. First time it was July 31st in 2023, then September 30th in 2023, then December 31st in 2023, then May 31st in 2024, then now again, which is extended to January 31st, 2025. So this is like film का dialogue है ना कि date पे date. So this is kind of the situation is there.
तारीख पे तारीख,
So
तारीख पे तारीख.
ये तारीख पे
No,
तारीख we are
no.
getting.
Shastraji, you have very rightly said that this is getting inordinately delayed. But the considering the mammoth size of the problem, some delay was bound to be there. They were expected to be delayed. I mean, they're there. The delay was expected to be there. But there has to be an end to everything. And since this is a very noble cause, a very good social security scheme for the organized sector, to my mind, EPFO would be doing a very good service to the entire country by starting it and institutionalizing it in a very seamless manner and expeditiously, so that the people's confidence is restored back and people start getting the enhanced pension sooner than later.
So any of your advice would be for the EPFO or any concluding remarks on this? I think we tried to cover this the subject what the data is available right now.
So that I already told in my previous previous discussions. The IT infrastructure and inclusion of trained professionals, hiring of trained professionals, even for some short time by the EPFO would go a long way in meeting the problems that we see in handling the such a large scale problems would give a very big boost to the settlement of the cases expeditiously. So, in boosting of the IT infrastructure, making robust the platform and hiring of trained professionals, even for short term, by the EPFO to handle these cases in a time-bound manner would go a long way in solving the problem.
I think this is also the time that Supreme Court will re-intervene into this, and maybe the then cases may be expedited. Anyways, that is not in our hand. That is by the law, and the Ministry of Labor and Employment is already there. So these are the authorities which are going to take care. These are the things. Thank you so much, Mr. Verma, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Srivastava.